God blessings everybody, this is the Gaming Christian with yet again another video, and of course this video, as the title is already saying, I will show you the Dreamcast collection. I don't have a huge Dreamcast collection. Sure, I have a few games, but the reason why I'm putting it in one video is purely because of the fact that I was scared if I was putting more collections in this video of different systems, then it might have been a little bit too long. So, yeah, this is going to be a shorter video than the other ones, promise. So yeah, let's get started. I just don't want to drag along because I'm very sorry about the other videos talking constantly. I'm sorry about that, by the way. So let's get it started. The first game of my Dreamcast collection is Bangai-O. This is my most expensive Dreamcast game. I didn't know it was expensive the way I thought it was. And this game was in the top 100 best games ever of Edge, because like I already told you in my last video, I'm going to show you guys a video where I'm going to show you the rest of my stuff, you know, my consoles, my books, my magazines, stuff like that. And this game was also in that book, not in the official top 100, but it was in a different kind of top, because that book shows the top 100 and another one, then small top 10s of all genres, and this game was also in one of those genres. So it has to be good. I've played it already. It is difficult. I made it to level... I think I made it to level 3. But level 3 is hard, especially the boss. Whew. But the game is pretty original. If you would play it, you would have never played something like this before. It's truly original. I would suggest check online if you really want to know what kind of game it is. Next up is a game you got for free with your Dreamcast. I didn't get it for free with my Dreamcast. I bought this game later and it costed barely anything. This is Choo Choo Rocket. A great game, a great classic puzzle game. It looked great, it plays great. This is a really good, fantastic puzzle game. And, you know, I'm a huge fan of the Dreamcast, so having all these Dreamcast games are awesome. And Choo Choo Rocket is one of the fewer games I still haven't played yet, so that still has to happen. Another game that's kind of like a classic, this is Crazy Taxi, sorry, my English. I don't feel very well, so I'm sorry if I'm saying something idiotic. This game doesn't work anymore for my Dreamcast, so I have to fix my Dreamcast one day. This is from the arcade smash hit, and what you do, you pick up people and you drive as fast as you can to the point where the customer wants to be. Yeah, this game is fantastic, especially for its time. It looks great, it plays great. Amazing game. Next up is a game that might be another controversial game for Christians. Like I already said, I'm going to make a video where I'm going to share my thoughts with everybody. House of the Dead 2. I've played this game, and as a arcade shooter, it is fantastic. It looks great, but it also plays great. But there's one thing that is totally terrible. It's the voice acting. Oh my goodness. It's actually kind of funny how bad the voice acting is, but you know, it's okay. It's a good, fun little arcade shooter. That's pretty hard. You can pick up power-ups on the way. You can use those power-ups when you start a new game on a different mode. There's a storyline in this game. You can play with 2 characters, so it's a fun multiplayer game. Next up is another classic. I have a lot of classics in my Dreamcast collection. This is Jet Set Radio. This is another great game. Let me tell you something. Back in the day, controls were criticized, but people accepted a lot more. These controls hasn't aged well. The game itself has aged well. The whole thing, what you can do, there's a lot of free roaming. You can use your rollerblades and you can, you know, use gravity. It's really a lot of fun, and it is technically a great game. Personally, I don't like it so much. It looks great, by the way. I think it was one of the first shell-shaded games. I don't know for sure. I don't know 100%. You should look that up. But this game aged very well, but not the controls. The controls are... That's the reason why I stopped playing. I just couldn't get through the controls. And but the game is fun, and you know what? It's one of those games you want to play one day, you know. I was glad that I could play one day, you know. I didn't grow up with a Dreamcast. I saw Dreamcast in a magazine, and it was like, okay, that's Dreamcast. In my mind, as a kid, I knew I was never, ever, ever going to play a Dreamcast. Never. And you know, I did. I did play the Dreamcast. I have it in my collection. I played a couple games for it, like Jet Set Radio. I couldn't get through it, but I've played it. It was, you know, I have a wish list, and even though I don't care about these wishes too much, it would have been pretty cool if I could, you know, and playing the Dreamcast was one of them. Now I own one. It works. What can I say? I play games on them. It's really, really, really awesome, the Dreamcast. When I read it in the magazine, it felt more like a fairy tale. When I saw that Dreamcast, I was like, nah, I'm never going to play this awesome machine. It was awesome. It looked awesome. Whew, I liked it. Next up on the list is Metropolis Street Racer, another fantastic racing game. One of the best racing game on the Dreamcast, and maybe one of the best racing games ever created, but maybe that's a bit over the top. But when it came out, it really had high scores, so you could have already expected that this game was fantastic and people were accelerating about this game. Like I said in my other videos, I don't like racing games all that much, but this is just a classic just to have in your collection. Next up is another classic. This is Phantasy Star Online. Yeah, you can play single player, but it's not as special. This is actually the first online RPG for consoles that worked. So yeah, you could say that this game is a true technical masterpiece. You don't have to like it. And back in the day, people actually played this and had a lot of fun, and it actually worked. This is actually a great, great game. I'm not exaggerating. You know, it's sorry, my English. You know, the storyline isn't all that fantastic, but it's about the whole world you walk in, and the world was pretty good, you know. But I haven't played it back in the day, but, you know, the game just looks great, it plays great, but it's a fantastic game. But you need a code, and I found that code online, so I could play it as single player, but of course online it's impossible to play now. But it's just a cool game to have. You see, that's what I mean with the Dreamcast. It's just cool to have. It's a typical collector's item, and it's cool to play as well. I've played some games. I've played Jet Set Radio. I've played House of the Dead 2. Well, the next game I'm going to show you guys, I've also played that game. This is Resident Evil Code Veronica. I have a whole bunch of Resident Evil games in my collection, and this is one of them. It has like multiple discs. But you know, the fun thing I really like the cases. They're so much differently than the PlayStation 1 cases. So, and it always smells the same. It's so weird if you smell it. It has a typical smell. But what I like about this specific title is, of course, the fact that it's a great game. It's a great Resident Evil game. Sure, it's not the Resident Evil classic. A lot of people expected it, but a friend of mine who's a huge Resident Evil fan, this is one of his favorite Resident Evil games. It's not my favorite Resident Evil game, but it is a very fun Resident Evil game. I've played it for the PlayStation 2, and the original Dreamcast one is a true classic. So yeah. Resident Evil Code Veronica. Next up, I have two cases from a classic, people. This is definitely the best Dreamcast game ever created on the technical point of view. It's Shenmue. Oh my goodness, people. This game is fantastic. I am not kidding. This game is so good, and the reason why I got two of the same game, well, this is disc 1 and disc 2. I have to see. Yeah, this is disc 3. This is disc. This is the special edition. There are 3 discs in total. There's also a special disc here, and this is CD1 and CD2. I've played it, and don't get me wrong, the game is not going to be fun. But what does this game well is an experience with the letter E, with the big letter E. It is unbelievable. This experience of this game, I finished it, and I even wanted to stop earlier, but I was like, well, the experience in this game is fantastic. Why is this game so special? Well, I would suggest, you know, I cannot really say it in words because I'm dragging on too long. I'm filming for 10 minutes. We're almost through it. I'm sorry about it. But trust me, if you play it, it has the same Dreamcast smell. Unbelievable. It smells like the other ones. But yeah, if you know, play the game or see a review, and you'll be amazed. Because seriously, the controls will go against you. I mean, if you play it, maybe the controls aren't for you, but the experience, my goodness, I really wanted to play this game. You know, Two things. Like I said already, I could never believe that I would play the Dreamcast. Never. I played it. Then I said another thing. I could never believe I would play Shenmue. It is impossible. Shenmue? I'm not going to play Shenmue. I finished it. And it was fantastic. Every second was just great. It's like an action adventure. This was all before GTA. And in some ways it is better than GTA. I'm not kidding. You know, sure, have a discussion with me. I'm fine. I'm cool with that. But I personally think that this is even better than GTA in a few ways. GTA is good in with a few things better than Shenmue. But Shenmue is better in things than GTA. This was all before Mass Effect. You know, you could make your own choice. It was unbelievable. This game is technically one of the best games ever. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not overreacting. Sorry about my English. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this game is so great. I'm sorry, I'm talking way too much about that game, so let's just continue. Next up is a game that had great controls back in the day, but right now I just couldn't get through. This is Sonic Adventure. This is one of the best 3D Sonics. Back in the day, it was fantastic. It had great graphics, great gameplay. You had a city you could walk through. The voice acting wasn't great, but you know, it really plays well compared to Sonic the Hedgehog for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. You know, the 2006 version. It is nothing compared to this one. Actually, it is but a glimpse. You know, like I'm saying, this is Sonic Adventure, and it is a fantastic game, but you have to love it. Personally, I only did a few levels and then it got a little bit boring to me, but overall I would say this is a very good game for its time. Next up is another Dreamcast classic. I have only Dreamcast classics, not because it's my collection, but I mean, just look at this. This is Soul Calibur, the first one. This is the original Soul Calibur. This game is fantastic. It plays like a dream. It looks great, it has fantastic gameplay, and I could easily say that for its time, this is one of the best fighting games ever. Not only is it one of the best fighting series ever, I mean, if you could make a top 5 best fighting series, this would definitely be in it, but it's also the best fighting game with weapons. And seriously, the gameplay in Soul Calibur, before this you had Soul Edge. In my PlayStation 1 video, I've showed you I showed you Soul Blade or Soul Blade. This was after Soul Blade, and the storyline just keep continuing. But the game, people, is just fantastic. Personally, I couldn't get through it because I'm used to Part 2 and Part 3 and even Part 4. Those are the games I really like, especially Part 4, who's my personal favorite. But I also like Part 3, and Part 2 was also great. But this game is just also equally fantastic. We're almost through it, people. Don't worry. Don't go away, please. This is Virtua Fighter 3 TB. Not really a classic. This is the least good game in my Dreamcast collection. A lot of people calls this game not a great Virtua Fighter game. I disagree on the fact. I really think this is a great fighting game, and I really think this is a good fighting game. But maybe not the best Dreamcast game I have. But I haven't played this game too much, so maybe I should give it a chance in the future. Next up is one of the better tennis games ever. Sorry. This is one of the best tennis games ever. I haven't played this game yet, and I know I've been saying that for almost every game I have in my Dreamcast collection. But this is Virtua Tennis, the first one. Yes, it's also a great game for the Dreamcast. It works, that's the most important thing. And it looks great, and it has just great gameplay. You know, there are some characters on the back here. Sorry, I'm dragging way too on. Well, this was Virtua Tennis for the Dreamcast. I'm sorry, this is another long video. Like I said, it's not a huge Dreamcast collection, but it is big enough for a fun collection. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I'm sorry I talked way too long. I will try not to take too long, but I really wanted to share a story with you with every game, and maybe that's not fun. I'm sorry about that. See you guys next time with some more videos. Goodbye now.